Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here. This time reviewing on Justice League Rebirth. Now, as you know, Justice League was a part of DC Rebirth that brought back old elements of the Justice League. Now, for the first few issues, you mainly had the New Earth Superman until he fused with his Prime Earth counterpart and became the main universe version of Superman. So the cover, you mainly have the Justice League looking on while the sun sort of sets. And the story starts off how a giant alien-like parasite shows up and flies over a large city where it infests everyone with spawns and that. And the Justice League show up to combat the threat. Meanwhile, Clark and Lois are basically saying, "What do you mean, Clark? This Earth has been our home for years now. We've been happy raising our son, making a difference where we can." But Clark points out that, this isn't their home and that, that they lost their Superman. And he points out saying, "The League, they were his friends, not mine. You're the world's Superman now. Maybe you should reach out. After all, it wouldn't be much of a Justice League without a Superman." I like how Lois tries to, say, look, they are still your friends, but differently. So, pretty much, the Justice League have to combat the threat, but to little to no efforts. So, Cyborg and that has to open boom tubes to kind of shield the bystanders, and pretty much they decide to teleport into the creature. So, we see how Lois and Clark are talking about the problems that everything else, but saying, "Because you're Superman, and that makes a difference." So, meanwhile, in China, Jessica and Simon pretty much fly off after stopping an earthquake, and they point out that they're heading to New York, and Simon says, "The League arrested me once," and that did happen in one of the early issues of Justice League. And Jessica says, "That's okay, Simon. I once tried to kill them," which happened when she became Power Ring for a time. So Justice League pretty much investigate the creature, and Aquaman starts hearing its mind, but they have to find a way to destroy the brain inside the creature. So pretty much the Justice League are now talking about, saying, "Superman's dead, man. I looked up to him. Aren't you just being, paranoid?" So they point out is how they miss Superman. Even Lois admits it as well. Keep in mind that in the early issues of Justice League, him and Wonder Woman had a relationship. So, pretty much they go into the main brain of the creature and says, I think it's its brain central. And so he starts hearing its mind and says, I can hear it, thinking, it's called a Reaper, and I think it's here to harvest humanity." And so suddenly they try and stop them from happening, and Cyborg's boom tubes start haywiring. Simon and Jessica show up to go inside the creature, and just as they head in, Superman flies in to stop the Harvester, and they all attack together. And after this, Superman says, "I scanned it on my way, and it seems to be techno-organic. A pinpoint some central system to disable. It will regenerate in time, but I think we've hurt it for now." So after this, they tell it, that if it does come back with its other friends, the Justice League will be ready to stop them, and it flies off. So after this, Superman leaves, And after this, a news report's made about the Justice League, and we see them in action. And this is the story. So I think the story is alright, but I think there were ways they could have done it better. I think they could have had Bruce looking up Clark or Diana, you know, trying to find, you know, the New Earth Superman. But I feel they just try to make it seem like the Justice League can't handle situations without Superman, even though they could have. So the story deserves thumbs in the middle. Kind of alright, but could have been better. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.